All right, let's see if this will work. You're on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. Hello.
Hi, Ron. It's Coach Brode.
Hey, Coach. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. We had some all kinds of phone issues,
I
and
heard.
for whatever reason, your phone is working. So, hey, congratulations! You win the lottery today.
Yeah, how about that? That's a good start today.
Yeah, no kidding. Speaking of starts, you guys had a heck of a good start in the 2020 COVID campaign, and with all of the weird stuff that happened in 2020. How big was that start for you guys as you went in and, like every other school in the state, unknown territories? How big was that start for you guys this year in 2020?
Yeah, it was really nice. I mean, our kids were just excited to play. We had our first game moved from a Friday to a Saturday. We were just hoping to get out there and get on the field. And it was. We started off with a win against Louisville, and that kind of propelled the next couple wins with a start of 4-0 record. So it was really good just to be back playing. I know everything was different last year, and it was challenging for the athletes and coaches and families and things. But it was really important to get out there, nice 4-0 start, even though we weren't able to win Game 5.
All right, Coach, obviously, knock on wood, to this point, we're back to normal. Whether that remains the same, I should say, is that's the million-dollar question. But as of right now, we're starting to get back to normal. What are some of the things that you would like to incorporate that you did out of necessity from a coaching standpoint in 2020? Is there anything that you want to incorporate?
Do you mean from the COVID side of things?
Yeah, from the coaching side of things that you probably wouldn't have normally done, but COVID forced the issue.
Yeah, we were kind of separated in pods. We called them pods last year, and it's nice. Basically, what that was a JV pod or a young guy pod, and then an older class or a varsity pod. Just like in the weight room, it felt as if we were kind of isolated. I would only see the varsity guys in the weight room, and then they would go outside and do their conditioning, and then I'd see the junior varsity guys, and it was good because we had to follow how many people were out in the building and things like that. But it's nice now to have everybody all in there at once, at practice at one time, not having to worry about the maximum number of people inside of the building, and whether it's the weight room or a classroom or. So I guess that's really nice this year that I just took, I always took that for granted. And then last year we weren't able to do that.
All right, Coach, let's talk about that off-season weightlifting program. How frequent have the visits been by your kids?
Really good. So obviously it's non-mandatory, and, we don't track attendance and things like that. But I can tell you we had almost daily about 20. We lifted 3 days a week, and I want to say we're in the 20s most days, which is outstanding considering our roster is at 37 right now. But we had a lot of guys that were involved in basketball and wrestling and then track and baseball. So we had really good numbers. And the kids, the kids that show up and work hard, they see the growth. They see the progress. They can look in the mirror and see progress. They're growing young men, and they put in hard work and gain muscles and strength, and you can actually see that. So it was great. We had a wonderful offseason.
Nate Brode, the head football coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. And Coach, you have a wrestling program, and I've heard so many coaches talk about the importance of linemen and guys up front to be a part of the wrestling program. Is that something that you try to steer into the direction of those kids?
Yeah, our wrestlers that typically play football for us, they're typically the better tacklers. They're just as aggressive, if not more aggressive, than some other kids. It's great just to be involved in something, and that's what I tell them. Get involved in something. If it's going to be, if wrestling isn't their sport or basketball's not their sport, come to the weight room. If you want to go play baseball, go play baseball. But to be involved in something, be accountable, I think that has really helped us. These multi-sport athletes it's been great because they're using all different type of muscle groups, and they're not just focusing on the same ones, 11 months out of the year. We really encourage multi-sport athletes at Jackson Milton.
Yeah, obviously, given that Jackson Milton, one of the smaller schools in the area, you're ultimately going to get a lot of multi-sport athletes from a school like Jackson Milton.
Yeah, I would say at least half of our guys, if not more, maybe 60 or 70%, are multi-sport athletes, which is great. You get to sometimes with the coaches being around the kids all the time, they see your face, they know that's the sport, and it can become a little just ho-hum. But when we see these guys compete in other sports, and the football coaches show up to a wrestling match or basketball game, baseball game, it shows to kids that their coaches are caring about them, but also we get to see the athletes compete in a different limelight, and I love seeing that personally, and I know our coaches do as well.
Nate Brode, the head football coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. All right, Coach, so the offseason has been one filled with a disconnect between the Ohio High School Athletic Association and the coaches throughout the state of Ohio. The coaches wanted a 12-team playoff. The OHSAA said, nah, we're good. We're going to go with a 16-team playoff. And by doing so, you have moved the season up a week, so the you won't have football bleed another week into the basketball season. Now, to compensate, the OHSAA saying, hey, you guys can do as many June and July get-togethers as humanly possible. The flip side of that, though, is you're still going to start the two-a-days on August the 2nd, and you don't have a whole lot of time to prepare for the two scrimmages. Is this a recipe for potential disaster, Coach?
I don't know. I guess I kind of take things and spin it the most positive way we can. I mean, we were given the option between 12 and 16, and the majority of coaches, like you said, did vote for the 12-team playoff. They were expanding no matter what, so it's whether or not we were getting 12 or 16, and it's just been you just kind of deal with it. You just kind of understand that this is the route that they've decided to go, and you got to get your kids ready. And I really do like the fact that in June and July you get your unlimited number of camp days. I think that is so beneficial to the athletes, to the coaches, and I've really enjoyed that because typically you don't get into the X's and O's till your 10 camp days in July. We were able to get into the X's and O's in June, which is really nice. So I benefited from that. Our team has. Now moving this season up a week. In our case, how it worked out. We don't have a week one opponent. So in our case, our season, in essence, starts August 27th, which is no different than in years past. But I can understand the extra week of doubles being taken out and coaches being frustrated with that. I just kind of try to make do what we have and stay as positive as we can and get our guys ready for week one. Just a year ago, we didn't know if we were even going to play a game. So I'm not going to be the one that's going to be complaining about the date. I'm just happy that we're able to go out there and field a team and play.
Are you guys giving up in terms of trying to find an opponent for week number one? Or are you still actively looking for a week one opponent so you'd have a 10-game schedule?
Yeah, we're still actively looking. It's just, this late, 2 weeks away from August, it's really hard to find the right matchup, a team that's available. We have our week one opponent has canceled their first 5 games, I believe, or I guess the only game that matters to me is they canceled our game. So we have been actively looking, but it's like I said, it's difficult, finding out in June, July, you have week one opponent. So we're still trying.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that you're going to hopefully you find a week one opponent, but it's unfortunate that you're in that situation. But I'm curious, being that Jackson Milton and much like all of the schools in the Mahoning Valley are so close to the Ohio-Pennsylvania border, is there any talk about possibly getting a Pennsylvania school involved?
From my that definitely was brought up. From my understanding, Pennsylvania's week one is actually August 27th, the weekend of August 27th. That is their official start date. So it does not help us in finding an opponent because Ohio High School and the Athletic Association has said that August 20th is our week one. So there was a little issue there with that.
Yeah, and that's very unfortunate. We're speaking with the head football coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, Nate Brode, on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. So, Coach, how many kids are returning to the fold with Jackson Milton this year?
Well, we have starters-wise, we have about 3 to 4 on both sides of the ball, depending on how many games they started and how much playing time they saw. But about 3 or 4 kids on both sides have experience, whether they started or they saw a significant amount of time, which obviously that leaves a lot of positions up in the air for younger guys or newer guys to kind of grab and take that position away from being open.
No question about that. And, going back on the unlimited amount of practice is, and obviously I'm not a coach, but I would assume that coaches have all this time to get the playbook all ready and to have kids, albeit in their shorts and tank top shirts and just a helmet on, go through the upcoming plays, the upcoming playbook, and get everyone adjusted to what you're going to be doing this year. So when two-a-days come about, now it's just getting into the hitting phase, conditioning phase, now that you've put the entire playbook on display.
That's exactly it, and that's why I've really enjoyed having these unlimited camp days, because the mental reps are, to me, just as, if not more important than the physical reps. When we got our athletes not thinking about what they're supposed to do and just reacting because they know the play, they know the playbook inside and out, that's when you're going to see your growth, your progress. And that's what we've been trying to install in June and July is our playbook and terminology, and with all these new guys that are, coming out this year and or going to potentially see playing time, I need them to feel as comfortable as possible prior to that scrimmage and even that week one, or in our case, week 2 opponent.
Coach, who are you guys going to be scrimmaging before you start the season?
On August 12th, we scrimmage Liberty at 6 o'clock.
All right. And that's going to be your one and only scrimmage?
That's it. We're doing we call it a Midnight Madness. It's kind of like an inter-squad first day of hitting type scrimmage. That'll be on August 6th. And we do it under the lights at our stadium. And then the following week will be against Liberty on a Thursday. And as of right now, we have the following week open on August 20th.
Yeah, I want to go back to that. Obviously, it is it's a tight situation trying to get matched up with anyone to play you in week number 1. How far is this prospective net being cast out? Are you going statewide, and are you prepared to play someone 3 or 4 hours away to get a week 1 matchup?
Yes. We've been in contact with, I can say at least one school that's 215 miles away. So I don't know where we stand right now, but so our search is definitely statewide. We want to play. I want these seniors to have their 10-game season, and they deserve it. I'm willing to do whatever we got to do to get a game. And I know we're backs against the wall right now with the time it's going to take us to get it, and starting August 20th. But we are doing our best, so we'll see what happens.
Nate Brode, the head football coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays, joining me on the MP Vivo Heating and Air Conditioning Hotline. A couple more things before we let you go. Obviously, you play in a really good league, the Mahoning Valley Athletic Conference Scarlets here. You have plenty of good quality teams. Springfield, McDonald, Western Reserve, Mineral Ridge is in there. Lowellville is in there. You guys, Sebring, Waterloo, a really solid top-to-bottom league. The league will certainly get you ready for the postseason, Coach.
Yes, they will. And this year our schedule has moved around a little bit, so we don't have the same, week 4, week 5, week 6 opponents. They've kind of alternated or kind of just moved around. But our schedule and our conference is extremely tough, well-coached, hard-nosed kids that love to play the game just like our kids do. So you do well in our league, in our conference. You're going to have some positive things come the playoffs and the postseason.
Week 2 and week 3, who do we see on the schedule, Coach?
We have Newton Falls week 2. Right now that's who our opener is. And then we play Wyndham week 3.
Okay, so obviously with the decision made by the OHSAA to go top 16, and from what I understand, the first 2 rounds will be the higher seed, and then when you get into the the regional semifinals, they would start going to a neutral site. Getting into the playoffs, that's got to be one of the top tier goals for you guys this year.
Yeah, you love to win the conference and win the league. That is obviously a goal for us. But playing in week 11 means a lot to us, to our athletes, our coaches. Being in the playoffs, earning that spot, and showing up and being ready to go, no matter who your opponent is, week 11. So that's our goal this year, and we're going to do everything we can to accomplish it.
How satisfying is it going to be for you in your first home game to see all of the fans coming into to the stadium with no masks, and you'll have far more than 15% capacity? How rewarding is that going to be for you and for the kids? Yeah,
I'm excited. I guess you take things for granted, and you didn't maybe appreciate it as much when it was going on, and last year when everything was taken away in terms of the limited fan capacity, basically just family members were able to attend. There was no student section. There were no extended family. I'm excited for our athletes to be involved in a crowd or around a crowd that cheers them on, and motivates them. And that's what Friday Night Lights are. That's in front of people, in front of fans. The fans, the spectators, the family members, they're the ones that help make that atmosphere and make Northeast Ohio football so exciting.
Coach, I look forward to seeing the progress of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays this year, and congratulations on getting through the COVID year. And hopefully we're now on the other side, and hopefully it's a maskless year for everyone.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Well, I just thank you for making sure the phone lines have now suddenly worked. And I don't know what the hell's going on here, but you got the lucky lottery ticket today, Coach.
It did. It worked out well. I got right in. So that's a good thing.
All right, all the best to you, Coach. Nate Brode, the head football coach of the Jackson Milton Blue Jays.